Joining us now is Director General and CEO of National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, Dr. Obi Adigwe, to shed more light on the issues. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. So there are many issues that fail to inspire confidence in our national ability to effect vaccine rollout. Do you think there are some things that we should look at now and say, actually, it's just not in the public domain, but these are the kind of things that should inspire confidence that we will be able to do this rollout when it comes? Whether it's the first tranche from COVAX or the second tranche that is coming
from the African Union Alliance.
Yes.
Well, I beg to disagree that there isn't enough confidence being inspired, because I've just had officers coming back from the field, and even though there is some level of vaccine hesitancy, there is an obvious and palpable understanding that the Nigerian government has been putting in place different infrastructure, different mechanisms, and different frameworks to enable expeditious rollout of the vaccines when they come in. As you're aware, Nigeria was one of the first countries to sign up to COVAX. And even when it appeared that the COVAX facility may not provide the relevant amount that's required for the vaccination based on the tranches that have been delineated, they also started to engage with other vaccine manufacturers and vaccine producers across the world to get the relevant purchases when they become available. And in addition to that, bodies like the NPHCDA, the PTF, the ministry has also started to undertake an audit of both the supply chain and cold chain infrastructure, as well as the processes, the supply chain processes that will enable an expeditious rollout when these vaccines come. So I think as public officials, we probably need to do more to let the populace know the amount of work that's going on in the back end, so as to increase the level of confidence that's available out there.
Dr. Adigwe, since we're still on the subject of vaccines and all that, well, Nigeria has been criticized, especially your agency, NIPRID, because you're in charge of researching Nigeria. We're talking about the fact that we're seeing countries make efforts, to come up with not just vaccines, but other products, in the treatment of COVID-19. But, for instance, India, they didn't come up with any research or any vaccines, but they were able to get their facilities ready to make the vaccines in country using the specimen from AstraZeneca and Oxford University. Instead of us spending so much money trying to procure these vaccines that are not even available anyway, why are we not looking inwards and thinking of how to build on our infrastructure and get things done here?
Well, a slight correction there. India actually has very strong vaccines research and development capabilities, and they've also brought forward one or two vaccine candidates so far.
But the ones that they are using to inoculate their people with this initial rollout is a specimen from AstraZeneca and Oxford University.
Both things are tied. For decades, I think from the early 80s, India has put in a lot of money into pharmaceutical research and development. We haven't seen, a similar investment in research and development in this part of the world. It is when you have existing infrastructure, existing capacity, existing research capacity to be able to undertake general vaccines research and development, that you will be able to contribute to the development or even the manufacturing based on a patent that has been granted to you from an originator when that particular COVID pandemic comes up. In Nigeria here, for decades, our vaccines research and development capacity had been, totally wiped out. We were on record as one of the first countries to contribute to the smallpox vaccine.
Yeah, absolutely, in the 80s, we had all of that going on.
But for decades, we haven't had anything. And if you go online, you would find out that close to a decade ago, myself and some other colleagues started to advocate for Nigeria to start getting that vaccines manufacturing capacity back in country. In fact, when the meningitis scourge hit us, I think it was about 5-6 years ago, we came out and gave press conferences. You can check on the Guardian newspapers and other newspapers, and we were roundly vilified by colleagues.
So where are we now?
However,
because we don't have a lot of time.
based on that particular intervention, Nigeria started to build up that capacity. The Nigerian government put forward a 3 billion naira agreement with a local manufacturer that yielded the development of the biovaccines company. But vaccines manufacturing isn't like other pharmaceutical manufacturing. It takes years. So thankfully, that particular collaboration has come on stream, and it will start producing vaccines, but maybe not in time for us to address this pandemic. But the good thing is that this point has been made. People are starting to learn lessons. We're now being listened to. So by the time the next pandemic rolls around, we should be front and center producing our own vaccines.
Dr. Obi Adigwe, would have to say thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program.